Alrighty, you guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to do a video over the pros to riding a motorcycle, because being that I've been on the motorcycle now for a good year, almost 2 years, you know, I figured this would be a great video to make because I really have enjoyed riding a motorcycle almost daily. So the first thing I wanted to start off with, my first pro, would be just simply getting places faster. And a lot of that has to do with being able to get through traffic a lot faster. In a car, it's kind of hard to get around quite as smooth because you have to worry about not being able to fit through places and whatnot. And the bike, I can kind of get through cars a little easier, and it allows me to kind of just go through the traffic. And for me, I just really enjoy being able to do that, because if I can spend as less amount of time getting to where I'm going as I can, I would really prefer to do that, unless of course I'm intentionally, you know, just out cruising. Like right now, I'm not going to be driving all crazy. I'm probably just going to drive nice pace. But if I'm just trying to get somewhere, you know, I'm not going to sit here and just drive at such a calm pace. I am going to go through the traffic. And most people on a bike will kind of drive that way, just simply because it's a little safer. Now, splitting up lanes at high speeds, that's not safe, but kind of just filtering your way through the traffic, that is safe. You don't really want to ride in one spot the entire time. If you're sitting in one spot, right, you're basically a sitting duck, and the person behind you, they could run clean the fuck over you. Just, they smash you right from the rear end because you're not moving very fast. And unlike a car, when that happens, right, you're gonna get thrown on the ground, you might get ran over, you're probably gonna break something because of how fast they're moving and how fast you're already potentially moving. So really, it's just not safe to be moving at like a deadlock speed with other cars around you in a motorcycle. It's really dangerous, and it could get you hurt. So I would like to say that's my first one. The second is gonna have to be the gas, man. I can put $5 in my tank and know that I'm always gonna get where I'm going. That $5 can also alternatively almost last me an entire week, depending on how I ride. And if you're low on money and stuff like that, then not having to put gas in your vehicle to get to work to make money is a very nice thing to have to deal with, you know. Or at least when you have to go fill up, you know you're not going to have to empty out $20 at the very least. You know, even with our good gas saver, we put at the very least $10 most of the time. Now, me personally, I don't do that. Even when I'm in the car, I $5 it just because. But I don't drive the car very often. And so, that's part of the reason why I don't like taking a car, to be honest with you. Because I personally don't want to have to slap $10, $20 into a car every time I feel like putting gas in the damn thing. And I drive with the lead foot in a car, so it always uses a lot of gas, and it always goes by fast. So, not having to spend $1 million in gas all the time, that really helps me out. And this one, the third one, it's going to be kind of arguable, because you can very fast, like, it can really quickly get out of being a cheaper option than a car. But depending on your personality and how willing you are to just be complacent with what you have, you can get yourself a rather cheap motorcycle, and the insurance is going to be cheap, the gas is going to be cheap, and you're probably going to get a really good life out of it as well. Most like Japanese motorcycles that you would be able to buy that's really cheap, you're going to be able to use them for every bit of 3-5 years if you was okay with using them. If I wanted, I could still be on the Suzuki Boulevard that I originally started on, and I bet you it's still going strong today, even with its newest owner. but I wanted something faster, so your boy upgraded. But had I not wanted something faster, I could have definitely, what is going on here? I could have definitely just stayed with that. In fact, I plan on getting myself a C90 in the future, which is just the same bike with a little bit bigger of a motor. And so it, to me, is kind of a no-brainer to go to motorcycles now, because the performance for dollar thing, it's insane. You get good gas mileage 9 times out of 10. Even if you're driving like a jackass, you still get relatively good mileage, depending on what you drive. But most things get good gas mileage because they're not very big engines, you know, and a lot of them are 2 cylinders. The biggest engines you're really pushing around, you know, other than some one-off motorcycles, is 4 cylinders, which is the smallest engine you're finding in a car. So I would have to say them being simply cheaper all the way around, if you buy the right one, is what I'm gonna say is a very big pro, because they're just so much fun for such cheap money. How could you not? And that kind of leads me on to the next one. I am going to talk about the performance side. You know, I think one good thing to point out is the fact that even slow motorcycles are fast motorcycles. Unless you're talking about something like a Grom. Most 9 times out of 10, even like a, you know, a 300cc, some 250s even, they're gonna be relatively fast comparatively speaking to your cars. Unless you're driving a really fast car, you know, your bike is gonna outrun most things. It's just lighter, and you don't need as much horsepower to actually get around. So to me, if you're like a person who wants to race, or maybe not even race, you just like driving fast, I would say grab you a motorcycle. It's gonna feel a lot faster too. In fact, you might not even find yourself at first driving real fast because of how fast it feels when you're not, you know, wrapped in a metal cage around you, and you actually get to feel the wind, and you actually get to experience the vehicle that you're on. Because whenever you're going through all the shit on a bike, it's completely different than when you're in a car. You feel the road different, you feel the speed different, and the overall like experience is completely different. And I feel like that has to do with a lot of being exposed to the elements too, which you're not going to be doing in a car unless you got like something like that right there, which I've never been, you know, fancy enough to have a car that I can just take the roof away on, so I can't really give you no advice on something like that. The next thing I'd like to add in here, it makes going places so much funner. Like, even right now, I could just be sitting at home right now doing nothing, but instead I get to come out here and make a video and enjoy this nice scenery. And even though it's not super green or anything right now, it's still just really nice. It's a really good day to just get out here and cruise. And sometimes this is all you could really ask for on a fucking bad day. Just kind of get out there and relax a little bit. I don't know about y'all, but this is something I like to do. So when I'm having a rather bad day, it's not, you know, too far off to go jump on the bike and go take a cruise around town and not drive like a crazy person. Just go cruise, because it's nice. You get to see what's going on. You know, I've been slowly finding out what they've been going on through all this stuff. And to me, it just gives me something good to do instead of doing something bad, you know. So I'd like to point out the fact that just getting places on a motorcycle is just completely fun. You know, it could turn commuting into something you actually enjoy doing, which is one thing I touched on in a different video, and I'll stand by it. You know, commuting's not that bad on a motorcycle. I will probably continue to commute on a motorcycle. I think this year I'm going to go ahead and get myself a car. I mean, I do have a car. I have a Mustang at the moment, but I'm planning on getting rid of it. I personally, it's a 4-cylinder Mustang. It's got the little turbo on it, and it's a pretty fast Mustang, I'm not gonna lie. It's fun, but I personally don't really care for it anymore. And if I was gonna own a Mustang at this point, I think I'd just rather have the V8 one, because I thought the 4-cylinder was gonna be a little bit better on gas, but it really wasn't. It drinks gas like a motherfucker. But I did modify the exhaust, put a cold air intake on it, and I was about to do the tune on it, but at this point I'm just not gonna do it. But that's just kind of a little of a side tangent, I guess. Another good thing about bikes is this is a wonderful hobby to get into. There's a million different ways you could go. You could go you know, mainly dirt. You could do dirt bike stuff. If you wanted to cross that with a little bit of street, you could do ADV stuff. If you're a person who you don't really want to go on the dirt at all, there's plenty of street style bikes that you can get on, whether it's, you know, ninjas like the crotch rocket styles, or cruisers like a Harley style, I guess, you know. And the types of people you're going to meet are all going to be different on those bikes. You know, the Harley people are different than the sport bike people. The sport bike people are different than the ADV people. The ADV people are kind of like the dirt bike people, but not necessarily the same. And so I feel like it makes a great hobby to get into, and it can be cheap, but it can be super expensive too. If you're buying yourself one of those 20, almost $30,000 sport bikes, they're not cheap whatsoever. Neither if you're buying a $20,000, $30,000 fucking Road Glide or something like that. That's not gonna be cheap neither. Nothing's cheap about that. But like I said, if you go for an older style bike, you're not afraid of having to potentially do a little bit of work yourself. Man, they're, you know, great to get into. If you like working on things, they can really help build your confidence as well, because you'll find that once you know, it's easier to pull the engine out of a motorcycle than it is to pull the engine out of a car. And pulling the motorcycle engine out and pulling the car engine out and fixing them, they're gonna have some similarities. It's an engine at the end of the day. So if you can get normalized with working on motorcycle engines, there's no reason why you couldn't get normalized with working on car engines. I mean, some of them get just as complicated, if not more complicated, because of how small the engine is and how much power it's putting out, comparatively speaking, to a bigger engine. They got 7-liter engines out there, and a liter bike is a fast bike, you know, so imagine a 7-liter bike. That'd be insane. And another good reason is, and this one's kind of vain, right? They're cool. Everybody loves motorcycles for some reason. Whether or not you're driving like a jackass or cruising like you're some kind of wannabe gang member, right? Most people just really enjoy motorcycles. I mean, there is a fair bit of people who don't like them whatsoever, but that really doesn't, there's not as many of them out there as people who enjoy motorcycles. Just not even if they don't even have to necessarily ride the motorcycles at all. I watch quite a few YouTubers, and they're moto vloggers and stuff like that, and you know, you go look in their comments and you'll find people, and you know, it's not uncommon to find people who say that they don't even ride motorcycles. They just love watching the videos because they think that motorcycles are cool or they're interesting. And that has to say a little bit, because well, there is people who do that with cars. The people who are doing it with bikes are a little more, you know, adamant about it, I feel like. And I think that's kind of neat. me personally. But I guess realistically speaking, those are just some of my top reasons I think that are good reasons to ride motorcycles for sure. If you guys like this content, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and join me back for another one. I always enjoy the viewers who are coming back again. I notice I do have some reoccurring people who like to comment, and I really do appreciate that. I think it'll be interesting the more people we build. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, and I want to continue to build this channel, so if I can get some of them bigger numbers up there, I think that'll be really cool. And if I can have some people from day one type stuff, that's going to be real interesting to see. I think that'll be really cool if I can get a good amount of people and see that in the future, honestly. But thanks for coming in again. I appreciate the views. Like, comment, subscribe.